All right, so here we are, championship weekend. I'm excited. So first of all, congratulations, Ty won it. Kel, good job winning yours as well. And then Silent, I believe you are going to be playing. So A bracket, B bracket, and then the toilet bowl, which I'm still a big fan of. I'm a big fan of it. I just think it's funny. I feel like it's kind of fun to. What do you want to say? Like, it's fun to kind of maybe slightly humble brag that you beat like the worst team or whatever, and then that was kind of like, yeah, it's like, the college bowls. There's like 100 of them, and really only 3 of them anyone cares about. But you won a bowl game, so there you go. Bust in Vegas, you guys are going to be in the toilet bowl fighting it out. So right now, slight edges. We all know that the fantasy like preview thing is terrible. It currently shows that I have a 1 point over tie, and Silent shows you have like 12 points, which is the biggest lead, and Bust shows you as a 4-point favorite to win those ones. But so we're gonna break it down, and we're gonna see as I click on things here, kind of, which teams probably have the edge. So the first thing is we're gonna do the toilet bowl. We're gonna see which teams that I feel like player by player will have the edge there. So. I'm not going to click on each one to see your matchups because you're in the toilet bowl and no one cares about you. Tannehill versus Tua. Tua, like, the dual threat, right? It's weird, though, because I've made fun of Tannehill forever, and yet that dude has played really, really well. So I'll give the edge to Tannehill, even though I think Tua's, he's a little young or whatever, but he could be a good dual threat guy. Vegas, you are going 1 running back, 3 receivers. A bold move when you have a shitty team. But Josh Jacobs, obviously that dude's a stud. You're going against Dave Montgomery, who just came off a crazy good game, probably his best of the year. And J.D. McKissick, who is not good. So even though it's 2 for 1, I'm still going to give the slight edge to Vegas with that. The receivers, Keenan Allen, Robbie Anderson, Emmanuel Sanders versus A.J. Brown and Russell Gage. So you're rocking the whole Tannehill, A.J. Brown thing. I'm not sure if that's worked for you. I haven't really paid attention to your team so much, but A.J. Brown is a good receiver. He's also projected to get the most points on your team, not your quarterback, because the rest of your team is projected to get single digits. You're actually projected for 68 points, which would be impressive because it's terrible. But you're going against the 3 receivers. I'd give the edge even if Emmanuel Sanders wasn't on there. Keenan Allen and Robbie Anderson are better, I would just think, overall than A.J. Brown and Russell Gage. Russell Gage is the 3rd string receiver on a team that's called the Falcons. So yeah, he's probably got boom or bust. I think usually he'll see nothing or he'll get like a touchdown or whatever. I don't know. He's not great. Zach Ertz versus TJ. What is it? TJ Hawkinson? It's a weird last name. Tight ends for this year are weird. I feel like, which we'll come around to in here in a little bit, there have not been very many good tight ends. Like, you have like the top 3, and then everyone else is not even tier 2 worthy. Like, they're not good. Zach Ertz has been a household tight end for a long time. And then TJ plays for the Lions, which are bad. But I will give the slight edge because Philadelphia's entire team is bad on offense. So TJ will get the slight edge on that one. And then we have kickers, which we all know are the most important position, not named quarterback, obviously. Washington kickers and the LA the LA Rams kicker. I'm going to go against the Rams kicker because the Seahawks are playing him, so I'm going to assume that he will do terrible. Actually, you know what? Maybe he will do great. You know what? I reverse that because the Rams won't get touchdowns. There you go. Rams kicker. He's less points favored. I don't know. Who cares? And then defenses, Tennessee's defense, New England's defense. New England's defense was like a thing of beauty. I think it was last year. Like, they were crushing it. And the year before, maybe that too. They're not that anymore. Tennessee's defense, I believe Tennessee's going against the Packers. So they're probably going to shit the bed. So, bust, I believe you will be the toilet bowl winner. I think you got the edge, my friend. Now we will go on to the B bracket, which I will do a slightly more analysis because we care about you just a little bit more. You have Patrick Mahomes versus Phillip Rivers. Okay. No brainer. Okay. You have Leonard Fournette and Jonathan Taylor versus Dalvin Cook, another 1 running back team. Dalvin Cook is coming off a monster game and is actually projected to beat out the other two guys, which I think he will actually do. Dalvin Cook is top 3 running back, definitely top 5. Top 3 probably not. Maybe he's still, the Vikings offense is so weird because if they have a different quarterback, that offense is probably pretty stellar. Their offensive line, I think, this year has been kind of crummy, but like Justin Jefferson is a stud. Obviously, Thiemann's a stud. Dalvin Cook. I don't know who I have at tight end. They had Kyle Rudolph. If he still is alive, I'm not sure. Obviously, he's probably fallen off. So I'm going to give the edge to the running back named Cook. And then we have receivers. So we have Jamison Crowder, who's a New York Jet. Enough said. Robert Woods, who's playing for the Rams, which we hope dies. And then he's going to be going against a San Francisco wide receiver, which is surprising because I didn't think they had any. Marvin Jones Jr., which is a very respectable receiver, even though he plays for the Lions. And Sammy Watkins, who was great a couple years ago. So the 3 receivers for Silent, I'm not a huge fan of. Marvin Jones is clearly your best guy. But you're going against a Jets receiver. So I'm going to give the edge. We'll take away any one of those receivers, Ayuka or Watkins, and I feel like your 2 receivers are better than the other guys. So we're going to give the edge again to Silent. Tight end, you got Kelsey. He's the best in the game. There's no one better than him. It's not even close. Like, that dude is better than most receivers right now. It's absolutely insane. And he's playing for a team that just lost running back, so Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing it all over. So if you have, more of an edge, you have Mahomes on one side and you have his number 1 target, which is very good. You have Tennessee's kicker. They're scoring points left and right versus Detroit's kicker, which is not scoring points left and right. And then San Francisco's defense going against Arizona, which is a high-powered offense. The Colts are playing against somebody, but they're a pretty solid defense. Like, they're a good defense. So really, I think that most of the edge will go to Silent in this game. Patrick Mahomes is obviously, he is the X factor. The dude can put up 45 points in a game, and he may need to. Because as far as I know, there are 2 running backs that just got hurt. So there's a very good chance that Mahomes could put up half of your points. You're projected for 70, which, is 35 of that could easily be Mahomes. And, Silent, you're projected for over 80, and it's the winner, which is like also probably pretty, it could very much happen. Phillip Rivers actually is not like had a world beater of a season, but you got Cook, who's explosive. You got Marvin Jones, who's a good receiver, and you got Kelsey, who's the best tight end. So, Silent, you get the edge. Now on to championships. I know the thread has already started, which is fine, assholes. But humble brag for a second here. 3 years ago, I was the B bracket champion. 2 years ago, I was the A bracket champion. Last year, I was the runner-up in the A bracket, and this year, again, I am in the A bracket championship. So you can talk all the shit you want, but 3 years in a row now, I have been in the championship. So win or lose, which we will break down here in a second, I'm actually still pretty proud of that. I was the number 1 seed in my PPR league as well, which I lost by about 3 points, which was super bummer. I had Russell Wilson and Devontae Adams, which got about half of their projected points. Literally 3.5 points. Lost that one, or else I would have been in 2 championships out of 3 leagues. So I'm bummed about that, but it's okay. I've finished in the top 4 or 5 out of that 12-person league in the last 4 straight years, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. So Cools, Dave, you can suck ass, okay? I got 3 straight championships here. Championship, not wins, but you know what I mean. A bracket finals again. So here we go. We're going to break down Ty. Also, I will say congratulations. You've put together a really solid team. And I will say, before I break any of this down, the COVID thing has been crazy. It's been like hard for everybody. I feel like I've been relatively lucky when it comes to the COVID thing. Chris Carson being out for a long time kind of hurt, but Seattle knows how to run the ball, and so their backups were good, and I was paying attention to it. And, I got a couple wins when DJ Dallas was in there and Carlos Hyde was in there. And then, obviously with James Conner, he was out for quite a while as well. So I even had to rock the 1 running back, 3 receivers for a while. So, just quick glance, Ty, I do think that you have the better team. I feel like that, I am projected right now for like a 1-point victory, which if it's that close, that'll be really cool. And if I win, I'll be really excited. So let's break it down. I have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray versus your Justin Herbert. Kyler Murray is going against the 49ers. They have a very good defense. Now, I sometimes I wonder if their defensive stats are like kind of skewed a little bit because like teams are still putting up points on them. Like they're not a world beater. They're not like they're definitely nowhere near the I don't know if it's points or yards or whatever, but Kyler, the dual threat, the man puts up points. He's only had one single digit game this year against the Patriots. Other than that, he's putting up at least 20. Looking at his stats real quick, actually his 9.5 points at the Patriots, who also like have a pretty solid defense, but then it's 20s, 30s, 40s. He put up 40, almost 45 against the Dolphins. He put up almost 40 last week against the Eagles. The man knows how to score points. He's exactly what you want in a league that's not PPR, because he's the dual threat quarterback, similar to Josh Allen, Skunk, shout out to you, called it years ago, similar to Russell Wilson, and some of those other guys, Tua, who may eventually, the guys that can throw for 250, run for 1 and 40, 50, and then can also throw for like 2 or 3 touchdowns and maybe rush for a touchdown. Perfect. Going against Justin Herbert, who is actually, I really like him. I think he's a great quarterback. I think the Chargers got like a really solid quarterback. I mean, he was a 6th overall pick, so like you expect him to be good. He also had his worst game against the Patriots, and then he also put up 30-something points last week against the Raiders. The Raiders are not a good team. They're going against the Broncos, but it will be at home. The Broncos have a better pass defense than obviously the Raiders and also the Falcons, who are the last 2 teams they played. So I'm going to give the edge. That is a pretty, I think, fairly obvious one to Kyler Murray. I think he also has better weapons too. So now we go to running backs. You have Aaron Jones, who was he a stud last year or the year before? I feel like he's fairly new onto the scene, but he's obviously a killer. You also have David Johnson, who several years ago was easily, I won't say easily, top 3 running back because of the fact that he will catch a ton of passes, he will run it for 15 times, and he will catch it for 5 or 6 times. Last week he caught 11 passes for over 100 yards, which is, that's insane. That's a great receiver day, and he's the running back. So the dual threat there. Houston is not a great team, though. They're going against the Bengals, who's also not a great team. But I feel like the Bengals are feeling themselves right now. They got nothing to lose. They're playing like crazy. They just shut down the Steelers. That game was so boring to watch. The Bengals just absolutely destroyed them. I know the score was a little bit closer, but that's the way it works. If it's like, not a 1-score game by the end of the 4th quarter, just because teams, they just don't care. They're just like, look, you can have the little yards or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I think the Bengals, I think they'll prove to be a harder defense. And then, again, Aaron Jones, who has had some really solid games this year, he's going against the Titans. Also, I think they're fairly good defense. They're kind of run of the pack when it comes to the run game, but I think they're better. And I think that they have Derrick Henry, so they'll probably run the ball obviously a lot, which will give then the Green Bay Packers kind of less opportunities to, have those. They won't have as many drives. So I would not expect Aaron Jones to have that, 150 yards like he did last week at a touchdown. At least I hope not. That's kind of what I expect. Now, Chris Carson and the backup, Benny Snell. So Chris Carson's going against the Rams. The Rams, not good for me. The Chris Carson had a relatively rough week last week. The football team, the Washington team, they have a fairly good defense, and I think all 4 of their defensive linemen are first-round picks, which is insane. So he was only worth about 7 points. And then the 3 weeks before, Carson, double digit. He's generally good for close to 100 yards and a touchdown, or 80 to 100 yards and a touchdown, because he also catches the ball 2 to 4 times a game, 30, 40 yards, 50, 60 yards rushing. He'll generally get you the touchdown as well. It is against the Rams. It's one of those. And for the division, though, the Seahawks win next week, they will win the NFC West, so they are playing for everything. I feel like the matchup goes to you, though. Aaron Jones is really good. David Johnson is adequate. Chris Carson is also very good. Benny Snell had a great game last week. I don't know, or last night, whatever. Yeah, last night. This was his best game of the season. Not even close. Like, I'm looking at the stats right now. The dude's put up one other game that was double digits. So obviously his best game of the season. Now he's going against the Colts. The Colts are also very good defense. But yeah, so I'm going to give the edge to you on the running backs. I feel like you'll probably put up in that like maybe 25 to 27 point range for your running backs. I'll probably put up like 20 to 22. I think maybe right around there for my running backs. We go to receivers. I have no idea why this thing has Nelson Aguilar projected at 18 points. More like, I don't get it. Has he put up 18 points all year? Oh, twice. He put up 18 points 2 weeks ago against the Colts, and then 18.7 in Week 7, where he the only 2 games he's clipped over 100 yards. He is not a good receiver. He plays for the Raiders. The Raiders don't have a great offense. They have Josh Jacobs. But Nelson Aguilar is also like the man is under 30 but plays like he's 40. I don't know. He just has that really beat up body. I'm not a big fan of his. Last week he did only get about 4.5 points, almost 5 points against the Chargers. So I don't know where they get 18 from. Maybe something I missed. Maybe all of the Chargers are dead or whoever he's playing. I already forgot. Who are you playing again? Colts, did I say? Oh, no, he played the Chargers. Oh, he's playing the Dolphins. Dolphins have a very good defense. Actually, a very, very good defense. I really like their defense. And then you have Justin Jefferson. I'm a big fan. I had him in my PPR league. He is an absolute great young receiver. He's going up against the Saints, who have a very good defense. But, again, like, it's one of those things where, he has a very explosive ability. He could catch a 50-yard touchdown as easy as any top receiver in the league. He's young, he's fast, he's a great receiver, but the Saints also have a very good defense. I have Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is probably top 3 receiver in the league. I feel very confident with him. And also Tampa Bay, they need to win, and they're playing against the Lions. So I feel like Mike Evans, this will be one of those days where he has a great, 90, 100 yards and a touchdown type of day. And then T. Higgins for the Bengals. Losing Joe Burrow has really hurt his stock. The last 3 weeks he has not hit 10 points, which is a real bummer because he was really lighting it up early on. I picked him up from, I'm looking at here, he's a free agent, and then Rick had him for a week, and then Brian had him for a week, and then and then I had him, and he kicked ass. Double digit, 9 points, double digit. He struggled against the Redskins, and then he's kind of cooled off. But he's playing against the Texans. They don't have a great defense, so I'm really kind of hoping that that he has a good game against a mediocre defense. So looking at these, I'm going to give myself the edge to the wide receivers because I have Mike Evans, and I believe Mike Evans is just still a top 3 receiver with the best matchup on paper. You have Darren Waller. I'm just going to give that one to you. He is that hidden gem that gets you to a championship. 2 years ago, it was George Kittle for me. I did a ton of research on him, and I think he was the 10th tight end taken and the number 1 in points. Darren Waller's the same way. You get him late, and he puts up wide receiver stats at tight end. That's a huge reason why you're there. Evan Ingram for me. The name is big. He has not been good. Your kicker, you have the Saints kicker. They can put up a ton of points. I have Carolina's kicker. They tend to put up a ton of field goals, which I think is why I'm going to give myself a slight edge. They're not a touchdown machine. They're definitely more of a move the ball and then score a field goal type of team. And then you have the Saints defense, and I have Miami's defense. I think Miami's defense is very good. The Saints are going to be going against the Vikings, who have a fairly decent offense. And the Saints need to win, so they might play a little bit better. But yeah, so you kind of got this like weird mix of like you got Minnesota's wide receiver going against your own defense. You just kind of hope for sacks at that point because I'm assuming that this will probably be like a 31-24 type of game. The Vikings quarterback Cousins, Team America himself, he'll probably throw a pick. He'll probably get sacked a couple times. So I think your defense will be pretty okay there. But I think Miami's defense is better. They're going against the Raiders. They will definitely get a couple sacks, and they will probably get 2 turnovers. They'll probably be worth roughly 10 points, I feel like. They put up double digits all year. Their worst game actually was at the very beginning. They were only allowed. They got me 4 points the first couple weeks, and then it's been double digits. In fact, they've only had a couple rough games. 24 points against the Rams. They take the ball away. They're a good defense. So giving myself the edge on kicker and on defense, giving you the edge on tight end. You have the edge on running back, and I'm giving myself the edge on quarterback and receiver. So kind of long-winded, I apologize, but I'm going to give myself the slight edge, just the slight edge. The key positions, quarterback and receiver. Those are obviously the key positions. You have the better running backs, the tight end. Your tight end can put up wide receiver numbers, which is scary, but it's just going based right down the line. I'm going to give myself the slight edge in that. So there you have it. Congratulations to me. Fuck you, Dave. And Brian, don't you... So the joke is last year, Suey, he had DeAndre Hopkins, who scored like 2 points on a Thursday night. Brian's like, oh, congratulations on your championship. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. That dude's a monster, obviously. 2 points on your stud receiver, and I'm feeling pretty good. And then Wilson just shits the bed. The entire Seahawks shit the bed. They lose to the Cardinals at home, and I lose that game to Suey. You know what? I'm still a little bitter about that one, because not only did the Seahawks lose at home, it was a great matchup and everything else, and that one hurt. So, it's luck of the draw. Let's be totally honest. None of us play this game. We have a slight knowledge on football players, but at the end of the day, random asshole on the Broncos can get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, or whoever that guy was 2 weeks ago, and then he's an absolute dud the next day. You can drop someone, and someone else will pick him up, and he will be a stud. That has happened to all of us. You can trade someone who's done garbage for weeks, and then guess what? They just hit their stride. I always feel like that the biggest part about this is consistency. You look at players that don't have that 2-point game, 25-point game, 17-point game, 4-point game. You look for consistency. Fucking phone. I don't need to talk to them. So, that's what I look for. So here we are. It's the championship. We are going to mix up the divisions again. That'll be really exciting. I don't remember who won all of their divisions. I know Ty won his. I know Y won mine. I think